Dugdale. Oh, hello everyone. I'm Tony Dugdale, songwriter and musician, and this is the legend of the Traveling TARDIS.
My name is Christian Basil. Years ago, I had an idea. I got myself a TARDIS. Took it to new places, met a lot of new people, took some great pictures, and talked Doctor Who. From Krypton Radio and the creators of the Hanging With web show, this is the legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Join me on my latest adventures and become part of the legend.
Hello, fellow WHOvians. Welcome to another edition of The Legend, the Traveling TARDIS. For those of you just joining us for the very first time, don't forget to hit, or people who've been around for quite some time and just haven't had a chance, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe, comment, everything. Tell everybody and everyone that you know your favorite Doctor Who podcast online here on the YouTube channel. We are very close to getting to 2,000 YouTube subscribers. I mean, we're less than 100 away, and just 100 of you coming over watching us. If you're watching on the Facebook page, on our Twitch channel, YouTube channel, by all means, make sure that you subscribe today and make sure that you let everybody know what your favorite Doctor Who podcast is out here. Tonight, we've got a special guest. As you saw him in the introduction, we have Mr. Tony Dugdale. And I've been trying to say that right all night, and I've been lucky twice. I've gotten to say that right, Tony. So thank you very much there. Now, you may not be familiar with Tony by name, but you're familiar with his wonderful husband who plays Dorian Moldovar during the Doctor Who, the 11th Doctor series with Matt Smith. He is the husband and better half of Simon Fisher-Becker. I think Simon would attest to that for me without it. And he is a musician. Tonight, you're going to be hearing some of his stuff. And what incredible music, because this is actually fun stuff, and this does go into the sci-fi world just a bit there. But before that, let's go ahead and introduce the team. Let's go ahead and start it off with... I removed him by accident. I'm going to start with Dave Chapman.
There we go. Thank you, Christian.
It's just a little bit rough on the edges tonight there, especially trying to get
tonight. Just tonight.
Just
tonight.
How you doing there, Dave?
I'm good. I set up my microphone as we went live, so if I sound really odd, too loud, too not loud, let me know so I can adjust my dials here. But I am back in Calgary and off the road after a month, and thrilled to be back on the show.
Awesome. Speaking of awesome, I can't do the show without her, and she won't let me. The lovely Melanie Dean.
Hello.
Which I hear she has a special package that she received.
Oh my God, Mark.
All 7 pounds of it. So I think we have another episode coming up of the Traveling TARDIS.
Yes, I received yet again another parcel from one of our greatest fans of the show, Mark Robinson, who's out there I see in the chats. But yeah, more sweets. I kind of took a quick little look-see to see what's in there. Close it back up, but we'll definitely do another unboxing of stuff. He put 2 things in there that he absolutely abhors, and we're going to try guessing what those things are. Also, he's going to be getting a parcel tomorrow, because UPS already picked up, of a bunch of American sweets on his way. And he can, we'll do another show of unboxing and see what his take is on all the things and the little goody little snacks us Americans like. So.
I know. And if you follow Melanie on Pieces of, I almost said Pieces
Melee.
of Melanie. That's not, yeah. Pieces of Melee. You could have seen Melanie live putting a box together for Mark.
Yeah, on Instagram, I went ahead and just went live. You can find it if you want to kind of get a sneak peek of all the things I sent to him as I tried putting it in this. It's 16 pounds.
Got it.
It's 16 pounds of goodies. So.
Speaking of sneak peeks, we're welcoming back. Oh, there goes
everybody.
Everybody, Mr.
my.
Garrett Pomacher from
Hello.
Hanging
I'm
with
sorry.
Web Show.
I'm sorry I'm late, everybody. I was at Christian's behest. I was checking out a website, Pieces of Melanie. It wasn't what I thought. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be at all. And now I have to wash my eyeballs and stuff because, you know. Hi, everybody. Hello, denizens of time here. How are you all doing tonight?
I think I just started a hashtag, Tom, if you want to put it together there. We're doing okay. How you guys doing over there? And I can't wait until next month. My God. It's just around the corner.
Yeah, well, we're doing well. We're, hanging in there, and we're getting things expanded and doing really well over at HWWS Web TV and, building things up again, coming back from a very long few months of being virtually invisible is not an easy task, but we're getting it done, and we're excited about all the things that are coming up down the road. So,
got it there, gotcha. And I'm going to be bringing in a guest. Well, I'm glad he's actually here because we have an announcement at the end of the show that's going to be. Well, I'll let them explain it as soon as we get closer to the end of the show. We have the lovely Gene Turnbow from Sci-Fi.radio, and please download the app for free. When you get a chance, you can download the app for free and listen to all the geek out me. Well, you know what? Tell them a little bit about it, Gene.
Well, Sci-Fi.radio is the world's only full-time science fiction radio station, and we currently reach 1 million listeners a year plus on average. It goes up and down. Sometimes it's like 1.3 million or whatever, but it's definitely 1 million. Anyway, we have free player apps for every smartphone and tablet. If you have an Alexa device, one of those Amazon speakers, you just say the keyword for it and say play sci-fi.radio and it will. We also have free watch faces if you have a Wear OS based watch like a Samsung Classic 4,
yes,
or an Apple Watch. You can download the Facer app, and there are links on our website where you can get a free Sci-Fi Radio watch face. So yeah, we're kind of a one-man band here. We're trying to hit all the bases.
And don't forget, you can chat with all of us tonight live. I'm going to pull this up, Melanie, and I'll explain later. But Melina, who is one of our co-hosts, she says, Christian, I'm watching you with a nice little blunt instrument. I will explain that all later. But Melina is going to be in the chats tonight. So thank you for joining us, Melina. Everybody, thank you for coming out there. And let's bring in our other co-host. We're talking about Mr. Simon Fisher-Becker.
Hello, everybody.
My favorite blue man. How you doing there, Simon? Thank you for coming on.
Okay. Suddenly, this evening, because it's evening, I'm beginning to sound like Barry White. So I hope that doesn't affect any waves or whatever's going on out there. But hello, I'm looking forward to this evening, and I'm glad to be back on the panel.
Gotcha down there. And we're going to hold Garrett and Gene just for a little bit because I know at least both of them have to go, but we're going to do an announcement about midway through the show out there. Speaking of special announcement, of course, our special guest today is Anthony Wilson Dugdale. How you doing there, Anth?
I'm good. Thank you very much. I'm good. Yes, I can hear Simon rumbling from the next room. He's in the next room. The floorboards here are starting to vibrate a little whenever he speaks. There are whales out there in the North Sea looking up going, what was that?
Well, welcome there, folks. And if you have any questions, please go ahead. And Melanie, if you want to bring anybody in from the chats, by all means, go ahead and grab them out there. Anthony, I just want to start off with you. I got to ask the question. How did you meet that guy all the way in the other corner? How did that all start come up to be?
This usually sort of starts some kind of domestic because I say it was at a computer show. I was working for a computer software company and we had a stand in a computer show. Mm-hmm. And I say it was in Earl's Court Arena. He says it wasn't.
I say
I think he's right.
Olympia.
He says it's Olympia, and I think he's actually right. But in my head, for some reason, it was Earl's Court. But yeah, that's where we originally met, and at these shows, I mean, you must have been to these kind of things. There's all sorts of similar things. And you wander around and people just step out of places and start talking at you about what they're doing. And I just was trying to get away from it all in a corner, and I bumped into Simon and we just got talking. And Simon, I don't know if he's still got it. I think he has. He still has a Filofax. For those of you who are under whatever age, a Filofax is a book you write stuff in. His is the size of a house brick. Okay.
Wait a minute.
I mean,
there it is.
There it is.
Yeah. I think he slimmed
And
it
it looks
down
like
a
it could
little.
be used as one too.
Yeah, it was, and he everybody he meets, just in case it works out, there's going to be some work in it for him, he'll take your details down. And then I think he moved. I was working in an area of South London called Mitcham, and he moved there, made contact, and we met up, and that was it. Really, we just carried on.
You see,
And
this
30 years later, we're still both wondering why.
Yes, there weren't smartphones or anything like that 30 years ago. Hence the Filofax.
Yeah,
which can double up as a
weapon of mass destruction.
A concussion weapon, yes.
I tell you what, you should have been around the day that he accidentally left it in the bank.
Yeah.
You've never seen panic like it.
Yeah.
It
Really?
was, I was trying to be like, supportive, but actually I was laughing my backside off because it was
Well,
Sorry,
I say to you all, if you lose your phone with all the information that you've got
That's
gathered
true.
on it,
There's truth in that. Yeah.
I mean, I know there's backups and things, but they're not always guaranteed, are they? So there is this period.
Well, our lives are all in this little case right here. Our lives are banking everything. So God forbid that disappears. If it falls into the river, I go in with it.
All right, wait a minute. Wait.
What?
Whose makes the communicator sound?
Yes.
Thank you, Gene.
Yes.
Thank you. I was going to say, because we cannot let that go without, passing without, I mean, Simon, I got to tell you, your
Bring that up, Gene.
OG
Just show
iPad
it.
is perfect.
Yeah.
Bring it up, Gene, just so everybody can see. I didn't. Yeah. We got to get the noise. Yeah, exactly. Nice.
Do you know that sound for me is a very nostalgic, and that sound has brought back all the memories of my sister, who's no longer with us, because it was my sister who introduced me to Star Trek. Way back in 1966, 67.
Yeah, this one is actually a working phone. So.
Oh yeah, Tony's got a sonic screwdriver.
I think the battery's flat. I haven't touched it for years.
Oh no! Here, try to recharge it.
Thank you.
Try to recharge.
Everybody get ultrasonics. Here we go.
When you bought me this for Christmas, why don't you tell everybody what I got you for Christmas?
Yeah, I haven't got it to hand.
What is that?
But Tony brought me a brain cell. Because
listen, if this is going to be a night of domestic squabbles, I can see that it's going to be.
No. It's absolutely fine. It falls under science. He brought me a brain cell. There's this company called Microbes.
It's called giantmicrobes.com.
Yeah.
Oh, are they little
yes.
Yeah, they make the little plush, quite big plush toys.
Yeah.
And a friend of ours is a microbiologist, and he put us onto it.
Tony, I'm
there's
fairly
all sorts
certain
of
that the
things.
girls here in the office want to know where they can buy brain cells.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're asking. I don't know why they're asking, but
yeah. Well, someone I know, her husband had a vasectomy, and so she bought him a sperm cell.
Okay, well, so he can have
good night, everybody. That's it.
Good night, everybody. We move on.
If you do mad things, I'd love. That's just like my sense of humor. I love that sort of idea.
Yeah,
but you can get all sorts of things on there. There's one which is chlamydia, and you give it to a teenager, and you say, "That's how big it really is."
Dave is scouring the office.
I'm scouring. I'm sure I had a microbe of some sort, but
I was going to say, do you have a cell of some sort that you're?
What are you doing
looking for?
No, I'm in a closet. I'm not my closet. I do have a squishable gnome.
No.
Squishable gnome. There's a
But
phrase you don't hear
I've
every day.
seen those microbes and all the other types. I've seen organs and all the kind of fun plushies at different comic conventions.
Yeah, it's a
So I
it's
know
a great
exactly what
site
you're like.
if you
Oh,
want
I know what you're talking
something.
about.
If you want something unusual or better still insulting, it's a good place to go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when we come back from a commercial, we'll straighten this all out. We'll get back to the interview when we
I wreck the
return,
place
and
again.
you're going to listen while you get a chance. You are for tonight. You're going to hear some of Tony's music. When we return, please continue to stay logged on, tuned in, and become part of the legend. Here we go.
We are a touring acoustic duo crashing kitchens around the country. We go from house to house every Friday night and we create music, we create food, a good time, we stream it live and we do it for free. So now we're just really kind of like trying to develop it and build a community group that people believe in, then they'll help us. So we played from our rehearsal room, we played from the bathroom, thankfully that didn't catch on.
I probably played guitar in my room, not for anyone, in front of anyone, nobody heard, for probably about 10 years.
And then one Friday night we played from the kitchen. It's the main place people want to be. It's where the food is, it's where the drink is, it's where the best lighting is. You can go to any party and I guarantee you the kitchen is going to be popping.
Our ultimate goal, I think, would be to crash kitchens every Friday all around the world.
Hi, my name is Jamie Engel, critically acclaimed author of The Toilet Papers, Places to Go While You Go, a short story collection suited to match your bathroom needs. Only have to go a little? No problem. I've got stories under 1,000 words for you. Far from poopin'? I've got you covered, with stories over 5,000 words to keep you occupied, while your latrine stays occupied. And that's not all. The Toilet Papers is endorsed by the fine folks from Squatty Potty, the stool for better stools. But don't take my word for it. See what Dookie the Squatty Potty unicorn has to say on YouTube. You won't be disappointed. Well, I've got to go. But you can grab your copy of The Toilet Papers on Amazon in ebook or print, or get an autographed copy from me at therightangle.com. And don't worry, I promise I'll wash my hands first. The Toilet Papers. You might just stay in the bathroom longer than you need to.
Hi everyone, Daphne Lage here. Join Nita Lanning and me on the Ragin' to the Vlogs show, where we talk about everything, nothing, and all the bits in between. Looking for hour-long conversations about indie comics, social media marketing, and crowdfunding, with the occasional rant and story time? Head on over to the Ragin' 2 channel on YouTube, Mondays through Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern to join in the chat.
Hit the button.
It's no mystery. It's by design. No need to wonder why you look so fine, so fine. If it was destiny, would I believe?
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Legend, the Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Basil. We have special guest, Anthony William Dugdale, musician and half of Mr. Simon Fisher-Becker, all the way on the other end. David's looking rather green at this moment.
Yeah, that can't be easy.
Another special.
Nice.
Sorry.
This is Dave the Dinosaur.
Everybody, if you got a plushie, go ahead and bring it on out here. Here we go. This is fine.
And I did find the virus.
Oh.
I don't actually remember.
Anyway, back to the interview there, folks. You just saw one of Anthony's songs out there. Anthony, tell us a little bit where you got music. When did you pick up the music bug? Where did it all start for you?
A long time ago. I started out, I think it was January 1966 when I started on the violin. A couple of years later, they switched me over to the viola because I wasn't a very good violin player. How they thought I'd be a better viola player is a mystery I've never understood. I continued with that through to about the age of 14. And I was 12 when the guitar came along. And that was it really for a long time. For probably over 10 years, music wise, I really didn't want to do anything else. And then into the 80s, you started to get synthesizers that were reasonably cheap and drum machines, and that side came in, and it sort of went on from there.
So why did you pick synth pop and particularly the drama? Because and I'm reading this from the site that I just put up over here. You can check out Anthony's music at anthonywilsondugdale.bandcamp.com/release for those of you listening to the audio. Glam rock meets art rock meets proto rock,
proto punk,
proto punk meets sci-fi rock meets new wave synth pop meets 1960s TV themes with a hint of steampunk and a touch of prog rock.
Yeah, I'm a pretty mixed up guy, if I'm honest.
Apparently,
but that's just it. I don't really go for one particular genre of music. I'm much more interested in songs, and they can be from absolutely any source. It doesn't really matter what style of music it is. If the song catches me, that's fine. And over the many years, all sorts of things have done from playing classical music as a child, listening to an awful lot of comedy music as a child. I mean, there was, huge amounts of that going on in the 60s for me. And then, glam rock, and then Bowie came along, and art rock, and just exploring everything that I got into and finding out as well where it came from. So sort of backtracking into the 60s with people like Lou Reed and the Velvet Underground. So, I mean, that track you heard, that kind of happened because I introduced Simon to Lou Reed's Transformer album. And I just went off and listened to a bit more Lou Reed, and that song just I think I just got the vibe, and that song just emerged one day in that kind of, I call it proto punk because it's punk music really that was happening 6-7 years before what we know as punk ever happened. And you had bands like Iggy Pop, the New York Dolls, Lou Reed sort of in that vein, and some of the early Bowie stuff. There's a distinct kind of hard edge, very fast, short, snappy songs, all that kind of thing going on. And that's really where that one kind of evolved from. But as I said, there's so many influences and bands and areas that I never know what's going to turn out next.
Yeah.
If you go through the album, it's just like that. Everything, there's stuff coming from every angle.
Tony, with such an eclectic bit of styles that you like to emulate, how do you pick a style for a song? Is it depending on the subject matter, or how do you decide what's going to be what?
It tends just to happen how it feels. I don't usually sit down and think, okay, I'm going to go down this route. They just evolve. Maybe something triggers it. There's just something about the idea that suggests a style. You got something. There's a track on the album called 20 Questions, which simply started out with something Simon did that triggered an idea, and I ended up, for some reason, it took me down the route of like the late 60s Beatles, George Harrison. There was just something about it. So you've got tablas and slide guitar going on and that sort of thing. It's just what it suggests, and I tend to just ride with it. And the song, I won't say the song writes itself, but I just follow what it feels like, where it should go. And rather than forcing it, I don't generally try and say, okay, this is going to be this or this is going to be that. It ends up what it is. It's just, I find it's the easiest way for me to work.
Hey, Sophie. Everybody says hi. Hey, Dan. That's a great sound, Anthony. And actually, Dan Hollyfield is a musician as well. So, Anthony, do you prefer Anthony or Tony? I can see you got a collection of guitar. What's your favorite one?
Well, yeah, I usually get.
Let me show everybody what you got going in the background.
I usually get called Tony. If I'm called Anthony, I'm usually in trouble. What we got back there.
So if I hear Simon go Anthony, I know on the show. It's all.
Yeah, I know. It's like, what have we got? I don't really have a favorite. I use whatever I feel is I need. Again, they all sound very different. There's at the front there. There's my 12-string, which is all the acoustic guitar on the album was a 12-string. There's a Takamine sitting behind that. I don't know what that is, but it's the same one Pete Townsend uses apparently. There's an Epiphone Les Paul behind that. There's my Strat behind that, which is a 1960s reissue from the mid-90s. Behind that is my oldest one, which is an Ibanez semi-acoustic I got in about 1980.
But you don't have a favorite. You just
no, they're all different. There's the Telecaster behind that. There's another semi-acoustic, a Yamaha behind that. They all have a different character. They all sound different. They all feel and play different.
Right.
So it's generally again, I'm going by the feel of it. Having said that, on the album, most of the electric guitar you hear is the Telecaster, which I did for consistency through. I wanted certain consistencies through all the songs, because I knew there was going to be all sorts of things going on. So I wanted a few things to at least kind of track through everything. So I used the Tele on most of it. The Les Paul and the Strat showed up in bits. Actually, on that one you just played, that's all the Les Paul.
Oh, okay.
That's all the Epiphone Les Paul. I was kind of doing Mick Ronson impression on that one. So, had to dig out the Les Paul for that one and wind it up and lots of fuzz, that sort of thing.
And don't forget,
so do you believe that the instrument that you pick sort of guides your choices in terms of what the music's going to be like then? I mean,
to some degree, yeah.
Pick one up and said, "Oh, well, this guitar seems to want to do this particular thing. Let's explore that."
There are sounds. I mean, if I want something more sort of rounded, like on what you've just heard, a fatter, more mellow type sound, warmer sound, I'll go for something like the Les Paul or maybe one of the semi-acoustics. If I want clean and bright and shiny, you'll hear, I think you're going to play a bit of Messages from Another World. In the middle of that, there's a little instrumental section and you'll hear this very bright guitar, twanging away. That's the Strat. They all have a character and a sound. Sometimes I'll swap around between them until I find what I think fits as well. So it's feeling around it, right? Letting it be more. I don't try and force it. If sometimes a guitar just won't. You play it and you think, no, that doesn't really go. So you'll pick up another one and then another one, and then suddenly, that's the one.
Yeah.
That
It sounds like you like having the voice of the guitar rather than trying to have the guitar go through a pedal and then changing the sounds through there.
Yeah. Oh, I do that. I mean, you can see there's a bunch of amps sitting behind me. I don't actually use those. All the guitar you hear, all the electric guitar, is done through a digital system that I've got sitting down here. So in terms of amps and pedals and all that kind of stuff, that all comes from a digital system. But it's all pretty much sort of classic gear. So the amplifier simulation is a 1958 Fender Bassman, which if you tried to buy it now, you'd have to take out a mortgage to get it, and classic things like that. So, but yeah, there's just a feel to things and a sound to things, and there's certain things some guitars do that the others just don't, and that's kind of the choices. But as I said, I wanted a consistent. Oh, keep it in the microphone. Stop it. Get out of the way.
It had it coming. It had it
coming. Yeah.
It looked at you funny.
You behave. You just watch it. Okay. You're not on screen, so stop it. Yeah, I just wanted certain consistency. So I just used the Telecaster. I like the Telecaster a lot. I do. I find it a nice guitar to play. But they're all my babies.
Oh, the Telecaster is an arm load.
Tony tonight.
Oh.
Yeah. So what were you saying about the Telecaster?
Yeah, it's an arm load. It's a heavy guitar.
It is. I mean, but Les Paul, that's a real, it's why you get a lot of older guitar players now, like Alex Lifeson. He has them hollowed out inside because he just can't. His back won't take the weight of a Les Paul anymore.
Really?
And they're chambered.
I've got a Les Paul and I've owned a Telecaster, and the Telecaster for me was just, it had a great sound, but after about an hour, you just wanted to, throw the thing across the room. It was so heavy.
Yeah, they're not that light. Actually, weirdly enough, my Ibanez semi-acoustic is incredibly heavy compared to the Yamaha, which is quite a lightweight one. But I mean, most of the playing I was doing was sitting down, so that wasn't really a thing. I wasn't sort of, Are there any of your songs?
Yeah, I'll read that for you. Andrew asks, are there any of the songs that you have strong, specific sci-fi inspiration on them? By that, I mean, is one track got a Doctor Who sound or a 2001 Star Trek, etc. feel?
Not specifically. I mean, when I sat down to do the album, I made the decision that it was going to have a strong sci-fi element to it, with some steampunk overtones as well.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the tracks have got some kind of sci-fi element to them, not necessarily specific to a TV show, though Messages from Another World ended up sounding very much like a 1960s TV theme. But that just kind of evolved into that after conversations about watching sci-fi as a kid, and Jerry and Sylvia Anderson's shows. Things like, Fireball XL5 was the first one I remember, but all through the 60s they were doing these shows, and Barry Gray was writing the music. And my favorite was the theme tune was Joe 90. I love that one. It's a great theme tune, and that weirdly became a hit in dance halls in the 1970s, in the early 1970s for some bizarre reason.
Really?
Yeah.
I have a question for just our other guests. Garrett and Gene, are you staying for the whole show? Or are you able? Or do you
I'm able to stay for the whole show.
Garrett,
I'm here for as long as they let me stay.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, then we'll keep the surprise at the end for Anthony when we return, and we're going to have a special clip from that song "Message from Another World" when we return. Ooh. Yay, Fireball XL5. When we return for our commercial break, please continue to stay logged on, tuned in, and become part of the legend. Stand by.
Oh, brilliant! It's hard to believe that in the 56-year history of the greatest sci-fi television show in the English language, there has never been a fan guide to Doctor Who. The official books might give you what they think you need to know, but only a guide written by a true fan will give you what you really want to know. Join WHOvian, the brilliant Mackenzie Flaw, as she takes you on an intensive journey inside the world of the first female Doctor. In the Binge Watcher's Guide to Doctor Who, Season 11. Right, let's get a shift on.
You have more options than ever before when choosing a film, a television or internet series, a book to curl up with, or even a radio show or podcast. Get to know the people who are creating for you. The Hangin' With Web Show, hosted by award-winning author and journalist G.W. Pomicher, is the internet's fastest-growing web talk show series. The Hangin' With Web Show features professional, yet casual, in-depth interviews with creative arts and entertainment pros. Meet the people behind a digital revolution in creating more quality content than ever before in the history of media. Find the Hangin' With Web Show on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, or simply go to www.hanginwithshow.com. That's www.hanginwithshow.com.
Meet the Doctor.
I'm the Doctor.
But not the one you were expecting.
All right, sexy. It's time to go home.
Doctor Who Velocity. Streaming now.
Welcome back to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Basil. I'm the host of this show. We have special guest Tony Dugdale, who is the husband and musician of Simon Fisher-Becker. And we are, don't forget, if you are joining us for the very first time, that's a lot of music going on out there. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe. And now, ladies and gentlemen, messages from another world.
Empty space, empty world, silence in the night, dreams beaming in out of nothing. Destiny will arise, there's something in the void, leaving the atmosphere ringing. And when darkness falls.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, our special guest, Anthony Wilson Dugdale.
Hello.
And Simon Fisher-Becker. Also, we have our guest panelist, Garrett Pomicher from the Hanging With Web Show, and Gene Turnbow from Sci Fi Radio. Also, Melanie and Dave, awesome people with the show. Getting a lot of noise in the background. Anybody in traffic?
It's Gene.
That's Gene.
Oh, that's Gene.
That's me, the gardeners. I'm going to mute my mic until.
Yeah, I've been trying to be good on muting you.
Yeah, or you could do it.
No, either way.
Either way.
Yeah, if you could mute my mic, that'd be great.
Okay.
Actually, I'm just going to ask you one question because Gene, I sent you when I was going to bring you onto the show to interview Anthony. You had mentioned I sent you messages from another world, and my favorite. It's one of my favorite songs because Simon's in it too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I can barely hear myself think. Stupid gardener. I can't believe they're here outside my window with the leaf blower.
Live radio.
Yeah.
Live radio.
Yes.
So tell me again what the question was.
No, that's fine. I sent you when I first introduced you to Tony's music, and the first thing I sent you was actually Tony. Gosh, I'm going to be jumping around now.
Whichever
YouTube channel. And I sent you a message from another world, which I love.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Simon's actually in it too. What'd you think about it? I remember what you were
I thought it was extraordinary. I mean, the Sci-Fi Radio gets a lot of music submissions, and I mean a lot. I think every music PR company in the United States seems to have us on their radar, and they keep sending me like big band or reggae, all sorts of crazy stuff.
Sci-fi reggae? That I want to hear.
No, they don't. The problem is that they don't read. They haven't visited the site.
Oh,
so they
okay.
say, we visited your site. We love your radio station, and here's some reggae. No, you have not visited our site, or you wouldn't have sent me this.
That sounds familiar.
I heard, I saw that. I saw that music video, Tony, and I was incredibly impressed. And I thought, well, this is good stuff. This is exactly the kind of thing that we would like to broadcast on sci-fi.radio and give some airtime.
Thank you.
So yeah, I'm gonna hit that digital buy button. It's Anthony Wilson Dugdale.bandcamp.com if you're looking for it, and it's just €7. I'm gonna double that and go to 15.
Ooh.
And check out with PayPal.
I can eat tomorrow. Yes.
We can have a latte tomorrow. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm going to buy the whole album.
Oh,
we're going to put your stuff on the air.
Decide to get on there. Well, it looks like Gene had let the cat out of the bag just a little bit early, but there's a reason why I brought Gene and Garrett on here. So, Gene, I think you already gave your proposal. Did you want to explain anything else to Tony while you got it?
Well, only that we have listeners all over the planet, and 194 countries in the world. Actually, 193 at the moment. There are two that we're not getting any listeners from. One is Ukraine, because they have other problems at the moment, and the other one is North Korea. And they've never tuned in. I mean,
that's just mean, isn't it?
It's just mean. So, but yeah, no, we love your stuff. It is phenomenally good, and it is exactly the kind of thing that our listeners look for. So,
there's all sorts of I mean, sci-fi is something I've been into, like I said, since I was really young, and all sorts of things, and I thought about making an album for ages, and I couldn't really get a handle on what I wanted to do, but I decided on the science fiction thing. And sort of the steampunk influence came in as well, because Simon started after Doctor Who. Simon started going to sci-fi conventions, and I went along, and I started seeing people in the outfits, and it interested me a lot. And so I started digging into what was going on there.
Oh, blimey!
Remember that?
Oh, right. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, right.
It's very, very difficult to.
That's our living room.
Yes.
Oh, is it?
Look down
there it is.
Look down in that very bottom corner
Bottom right-hand corner of the banner.
Yeah, can't increase it, but yeah, if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, everybody, yes,
there it
Simon
is. Yeah.
Also put the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. So yes.
And then further to the right, you can see a couple acoustic guitars.
Well, yeah.
I wonder whose those are.
That was when I was putting the guitar rack together. I built it in the living room and loaded it up in there just to make sure I got it right before I transferred it in here. What you can't actually see, if you move around a little more to the right, you can't really see it. Is there's a spiral staircase that goes up to the loft space in the corner.
But, it reminds me of the Treaty of Norbury.
Oh yeah,
Tony at one point had a warehouse of guitars.
No,
not quite. That's a hyper.
Hang on, domestic about to kick off.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'll go make some popcorn.
I could just put a camera in your house and we'll just record live. And
this should be a reality show.
No, I will concede that was a hyperbole, but there were an awful lot, and so we did come to an agreement that he could have a maximum of 10. And that became, and we were living in a place. We were living in a place called Norbury at the time, so it became the Treaty of Norbury.
Now I get it. I was going to say,
you're way
Tony,
cooler than that, Simon. I thought you were way cooler than that.
We have a weird relationship. I think you probably gathered that already. I have to confess, I have cheated with that in that when that was signed, there were a couple of guitars that were basically rubbish and not working. So they became placeholders for better guitars. So it didn't actually stop me from buying more guitars. I just threw those rubbishy ones away.
Yes, like any true politician, he finds a way of getting out of any agreement made.
Oh, yeah, all sorts of things happen to guitars. You know, like I had a Sunburst Les Paul, and my wife, and then I went through the wash, and now look.
I know. Well, actually, I occasionally freak guitar players out by telling them that Ibanez semi-acoustic, I actually swapped a black Gibson Les Paul Custom for it. And that usually raises eyebrows among the guitar players because the Gibson Les Paul Custom is, supposed to be one of the top instruments. I had one and I didn't like it. And I did a straight swap with a guy in a music shop for the Ibanez, and I've never regretted it for a second.
Oh, wow.
So,
what was it that you, just as an aside, what was it that you didn't like about the thing?
It didn't feel right. It never felt right to play. There was always something. I don't know what it is. It's hard to explain. It's how an instrument feels that catches me. And if I don't care what's written on the headstock, how expensive or cheap it is. If it doesn't feel right, I just don't want to play it.
It's for me. That's usually a sign that the setup is wonky.
Yeah, I had the Les Paul set up at least twice, and it just never seemed to. I don't know. It was just one of those things, sometimes you get along with them and sometimes you don't. But the setup is really important. I think if you don't get that right, it feels uncomfortable under your hands. But that one. That was that one. But that last song you played, that film that was in there. I don't know if you're familiar with it at all, any of you. I think it's called Cosmos: War of the Planets. I've not watched it. I downloaded it from a public domain site in America, and I looked through for clips. Looking through the bits, it looks horrifically bad. In fact,
definitely,
it could be so bad it's brilliant. It may even land in that category. But if you look at it's on IMDb, if you look it up, everybody just says it's utterly terrible. But it just looked right for what I wanted,
That's right, Sophie.
Do you want to explain how 20 Questions came about?
Oh, right. Yeah. It's okay. Simon has this delightful little habit of thinking out loud, usually in the form of a question. It can be any random question at any point in time, completely unrelated to whatever you're talking about. So you can be driving down the road to the supermarket, talking about what you're going to buy. Suddenly you'll come out with a question about brain surgery. Just out of nothing, these things appear. One morning we got up and we hadn't been out of bed very long, and we were still trying to, regain full consciousness. And he suddenly started asking questions, just a stream of one question after another. And this went on for about 2 minutes.
Oh.
And I eventually said, we're not, it's a bit early to play 20 questions, isn't it? And he stopped. Now, he claims he has no knowledge of this at all. He doesn't remember it. And then suddenly my songwriter's radar kind of went off. And I thought, 20 questions. There's an idea for a song. And it was one of those, I just followed what came up. And it was like, okay, write down the first 20 questions that come into your head. So I did. And then my brain said, okay, photocopy that, chop it into slices, one strip with a question on it, throw it in a bowl, mix it up, pull them out at random. That's your lyric. And it just, then I went, that's a bit philosophical, isn't it? A bit esoteric, a bit, I know, George Harrison, tablas. And off it went. And it was just this kind of roll of how it, and it is just me singing 20 questions, one after another.
In my defense, I
you don't get one tonight, Simon.
But I will try. I find, particularly now I do more writing, that I'm trying to build an arc. I've got lots of ideas, and it's trying to put them together in a complete arc. And I find when I'm sleeping, my brain sorts it out. Mm-hmm. But then thinking to myself, I'm thinking now, if that happens there, how am I going to get, I'm at A, how am I going to get to D? Then how am I going to get to F? But then what I've now discovered is I verbalize that. Mm-hmm. So it all depends who I'm with, really.
That just sounds like an excuse to write off naps as work time.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, everyone in this room completely endorses.
Yes.
We used to fight naps when we were 5 years old. What were we thinking?
I know.
I don't fight them anymore.
Now.
In fact, I triple the time that I need a nap for it. Dan Holyfield says Bowie called that process of writing lyrics cut-ups.
Yeah, I've seen video of him doing it. He actually developed a piece of software with someone, and I don't know whether it ever got released, but it was based around the same idea. You just put lumps of text. I've actually got one, I think, on my phone. I think there's an app you can download which does a similar sort of thing, or a piece of software at least. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was just that's the way I did that one. And it was one of those songs that the idea hit and I just followed. I wasn't really in charge, if I'm honest. It just kept going and happened. It doesn't always. Most of the time I have to work at them in some way, but that one just rolled out.
We got a final commercial break coming up, and a little surprise from Garrett from the Hanging with Web show Indie Spotlight. He'll explain that and why there's a little surprise to that. For those of you listening to the show, you can check out Anthony's music at Anthony Wilson Dugdale, DUGDALE.bandcamp.com/releases. You can check it out for yourself. And it's really great music. When we return, we're going to also play one of Tony's other songs, Silhouette. When we return, continue to stay logged on, tuned in, and become part of the legend. Here we go.
The massive audio Doctor Who Bad Wolf Bluetooth TARDIS speaker. That's all I gotta say, one word. Wow. It looks like it just jumped right off the screen. Here it is in all its Bad Wolf glory. Right here is the on-off switch and the up and down volume. Right here's the speaker. The TARDIS stands about 6 inches from the bottom of the TARDIS all the way up to the top where the light is. Look at the detail. Wow.
In the summer of 1953, private investigator Will Lucky Marks was working as the in-house private eye for Arcane Pacific Pictures. Trapped inside the studio with the killer, Lucky must find the killer before time runs out. Lot 28. Own it today. Available iTunes and Amazon.com.
As the time goes ticking by, angels look me in the eye. Plagued by endless mysteries, born of countless centuries.
And that was Tony Dugdale with Silhouette. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the wrap-up of our episode, Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name's Christian Basil. I'm the host of the show. I was trying to buy time for Simon, who has not gotten back to his chair yet. So there we are.
You're trying.
I was trying to buy time. And it's just like,
At least you get a good view of his ego wall.
Oh my god,
that's true.
Just solo his ego wall. There we go.
There you go.
We
Show
gotta
everybody's
see, we
wall.
gotta see the.
Oh, look at that.
Wow.
To Dorium.
That is cute. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, him on the skateboard. That was done years ago in a small seaside town on the south coast called Bridport. A friend of a friend did that one.
Oh.
He actually, in that, he looks like a former vice prime minister, deputy prime minister of England called John Prescott. There's a distinct resemblance in that one for some reason.
How you're saying this when he doesn't have his headphones on?
Hello.
Never mind. Let's put him back.
Okay.
Don't.
All right.
Don't.
We
don't
didn't
tell him.
remember. We didn't discuss the ego wall.
No, we did. We
No,
did.
not at
Okay,
all.
let's
Not at
go
all.
to the chats. Let's go to the chats just in case. Welcome back there, folks. And Tony, I also want to introduce our friend over at the Hanging with Web show and the indie music spotlight. And let me let Garrett explain what he has to offer.
Hi, Tony. Well, first of all, I'm GW Homacher. I'm an author and a host of the Hanging with Web show. I'm also the executive producer of HWWS Media Group, HWWS Web TV, and our HWWS Indie Music Radio, which, with the help of Gene down below there, we were able to put together to highlight the music of independent musicians all over the world. We've got over 400 musicians from every corner of Earth that I can think of. And Sage makes it a habit to follow Gene around wherever he goes on the internet. So she has already been over to get all of that music that Gene was kind enough to buy earlier. So thanks for setting a poor example, Gene, because now Sage has got me paying for music. But we wanted to welcome Tony to the HWWS Indie Music Radio family. We'll be spinning those tunes across the globe as well as
Thank
Gene.
you.
So
Thank you very
we're
much.
very happy to welcome you aboard, and we look forward to hearing more. We've heard the songs that that have been played here tonight from the videos that Christian has shared, but we'll be listening to the rest of the album real soon and putting it up on the radio.
So if you want to listen to Tony's music, you can now hear he's been expanded over to sci-fi.radio. You can download the app for free, check out all the music, and listen to any of our episodes of The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS on that app. And also, thanks to Garrett and the wonderful team over at the Hanging with the Web show, you can also listen to Tony's music now. Going to be playing on the Hanging with Web show Indie Spotlight. Did I get that right?
Not at all, but that's okay.
We've all met Christian. We know how this goes.
I remembered it when it was the Indie Hour. So
it was. That's actually how it started. It
That's how it
started out as
started.
1 hour we were doing as a podcast. We were just playing indie music that had been sent to us from some of the musicians that have sat here in the chair. And after a while, we had enough music, so I didn't know what to do with all the music. I couldn't do it in an hour. So I reached out to Gene and said, Gene, I know you do the web radio thing all the time. You need to help me out here. And Gene was able to get us started and broadcasting so that now we have over 400 artists. I think there's over 150 hours of music just preloaded and in rotation every week. And it's it's grown phenomenally. We have a top 10 that goes out and gets published every week with an indie music top 10 company that posts that so that indie musicians can actually move up the charts, which is really hard to do these days. So, we've been able to build from there, but we turned it into HWWS Indie Music Radio, and it's available as of right now. We're working on our Google app. We had some difficulties with that, but we have our Amazon device app. So whatever you named your Amazon device, if you simply call it by name and tell it to play Indie Music Radio, it'll play us.
Cool.
So, and you do have to enable that skill, I guess. There's a place for that. The girls whisper all kinds of stuff behind the scenes. I have no idea what they're talking about. But something about needing a couple of those brain cells for me. I don't know why.
Little brain cells.
But yeah, with Gene's help, we've been able to get that up and live and been able to get the music of some fantastic indie creators out there. So welcome, Anthony. We are looking forward to having your music on the air.
Wow.
I wanted to add one more thing while we're on that subject. Usually a radio station will pick, 2 or 3 songs from an album and just play those. But we've heard the whole album, and every single cut that you have on your album, What If, is so good that we're just throwing the whole thing in. This is a very uncommon thing.
How would we rush of blood to my ego?
I don't know. How would Gene and how would we have to sit here and choose these songs? Why would we do that? There's so many great.
One of the things I like about the album is that, there are so many styles representative, and the influences are coming from all over the place, and yet it speaks with a singular voice.
Absolutely.
And I really appreciate when an artist has that much control and understanding over what it is they make. Because for a lot of artists, it's a haphazard thing, hit or miss. But
Tony,
you have an idea of where you're going and what you're doing with it.
Yeah. I mean, I've always in my life liked a certain degree of organization, but a certain degree of chaos. and I like to mix organization and chaos together. And so I made production decisions before I started. And then there were other areas where I just went, what happens, happens. So within a structure, if you like, you've got that room to experiment, to play around, to make horrendous mistakes, to improvise guitar solos that you can't reproduce. So you have to spend 3 days learning them, which I did on one occasion. Having to learn my own guitar solo, that was just horrendous. But, it's just, yeah.
What's really great for Gene and I is that we're able to enjoy the whole album in our broadcasts because we don't stick to a format like the terrestrial radio where it's all top 40 or all pop or all rock or all whatever. Yeah. If there's a sci-fi twist for Gene, man, it's there. And if it's got a musical tone to it, we play it on indie music radio. So it's great to be able to say this is one artist and look at all of the range. That's going to be amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah. It does really represent my musical taste, which is, as I said, it's all over the place. I mean, recently I've been listening to a lot of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, some Todd Rundgren, and some Gilbert and Sullivan.
Hello, it's me.
So old Todd. Brilliant. I love Todd Rundgren. I really do.
I know. I didn't even realize he was hired. If you want a piece of sci-fi trivia, he was actually hired to do the Red Dwarf theme for the US version.
Yeah.
Yes, that's him actually.
Well, what I like about him is he's a huge Gilbert and Sullivan fan as well. And if you want to see something completely strange, there is a video I found recently on YouTube of him, the blues musician Taj Mahal, and his wife Michelle singing a song called "Never Mind the Why and Wherefore" from HMS Pinafore.
I will have to go looking for that.
Just like weird. It's really good, but it's weird.
I have to ask Tony. So Garrett and Gene came in a little bit late, so they weren't here when we were chatting before the show started.
Well, in defense, though, that was Christian's fault because he sent us over there to Pieces of Melanie and got us very distracted.
Yes.
It's not Melanie's website, guys. Don't Google that.
That's fair, and that's fair. But what you didn't hear is, Tony, don't you have something more coming up? So to choose from now?
I'm actually, I started a new project, which I was at one point thinking of calling Carbon-Based Idiot. That was a working title.
I like it.
It's the project is called Small Songs, and that's kind of the idea of it, moving away from like the big production type stuff, and trying to go back to something really basic and shorter. You know, nothing more than 4 minutes long. Only ever hearing 4 instruments and 3 voices at any one, or 4 voices at any one time. So it's going to sound a lot more like a band playing in the studio. That's the idea. I'm sure there'll be sci-fi elements in it, but I'm not specifically pushing that side of it. But I'm sure it'll come out because, you know, as I said, sci-fi's been a part of my life ever since I was like 4 years old.
That's fair. No, that's exciting. More.
Well, but what always happens, and this always happens to me, when I sit down and think I'm going to write a 3-minute pop song, I end up with a 10-minute epic. Or if I think I'm going to write a 10-minute epic, I end up with a 3-minute pop song. And I've accepted that. That's just the way things work for me. So I'm fine with that. So saying I'm going to write little short songs, you're probably going to end up with a double album that's just 1 track or something like that. I don't know.
I'm in for that. Bang.
Well,
just need to put it on stage, on a stage show.
Yes. It's the Rick Wakeman effect.
Yeah.
I've written
John Anderson.
I've written a TV series called Hello Lovely, and Tony's written a rather good theme tune for it. So it'll probably need retweaking.
Yeah, it's really it's barely the standard of a demo. I rattled it out in an afternoon, but he set me this wonderful task. He decided in the lyric he wanted the names of some of the main characters, which are all based around towns and cities where they either live, or the actors he has in mind, where they live or where they were born.
Okay.
So I had to somehow work town names into the lyric. So I turned them all into puns.
Oh no!
Yeah. So there's a character called Wandsworth, a character called Brighton. You know,
there's a place called the Wirral, which is an area just to the southeast of Liverpool, and the line there is, "We're all living in a 10x8." So I did things like that to it. You know, Brighton, you could only be right on. Things like that. So I broke them down and used them in other contexts. But
fancy running into you, Basingstoke, that sort of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I'd fit Basingstoke in.
But the Wirral is where we filmed the series Puppy Love that I did a few years ago. Yeah, so
because that's where Joe Scanlon grew up, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, I don't mean to cut things short, but our audio audience we're going to have to end the show right there, but we will go into the after party. So if Simon, Anthony, if you guys want to stay longer, by all means. The only thing we were going to do in the after party, we were going to review the trailer for Legend of the Sea Devils, which is the episode coming up for Easter. But yeah, if you want to continue this conversation, we just have to say goodbye to our friends on the audio at the moment. Everybody, if you haven't had a chance, please don't forget to subscribe. You can listen to TLTT on iHeartRadio, sci-fi.radio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, CBSradio.com, Speaker, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, you can download and listen to us. But definitely the best place to go is sci-fi.radio. Nothing bad with the others, but definitely you want to check those out if you want to listen to us on the audio. And don't forget, you can also, as you can see scrolling at the bottom of the screen, youtube.com, youtube.com/The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. We are just 100 people away from getting to 2,000. Our 10th anniversary will be taking place May 19th, and that will actually be the first day of MegaCon Orlando. And there might be a big surprise going on at MegaCon Orlando just for the Traveling TARDIS. But we're going to find out more as things go on.
Bless you.
I do apologize. I should have put my mute on.
You're fine. That's the best way to end the show right there. So we're heading into the after party. For those of you listening, you can check us out on the YouTube channel. Everybody else, thank you for joining us. We're going to continue on right into the after party. So thank you. And always, please stay safe and become part of the legend. Hey, we're just doing the review of the Sea Devil trailer, but if anybody had any questions for Tony, please. I know there were a lot of chats still pending out there.
Would I like to do soundtracks? The idea has occurred. No one's actually asked me to do it, but I'd be interested to give it a go. Yes. I call the album "What If" because what if is one of my favorite things. What if I did this?
Which is the title of the album.
This will put you to sleep.
I can understand that, Tony. In my last album, I had the working title "This Will Put You to Sleep." It turned out into a meditation album. I had to chop it up into tracks to keep it from being one song.
Yeah, once again, the John Anderson effect. You know, like Elias of Sun Hillow. Have you listened to that album? It's a masterpiece.
No.
He did it in 1975, and he had to multi-track the whole thing. It was back before digital, and he had like up to, I think he was juggling 400 separate elements.
Wow!
And he thought he was going to lose his mind before he ever
I can
finished
imagine.
it.
Yeah,
and he played all the instruments himself as well. So it was really a groundbreaking piece of music. Elias of Sun Hillow. It's a story album, and it's science fiction fantasy, and it is absolutely wonderful. I think you should. I think
check that one out.
Yeah, it's glorious. It's glorious.
Yeah.
I'll be rewinding this whole episode and going this one and looking up this one and looking up this one.
Oh, Rick Wakeman, Journey to the Center of the Earth. That's the other one.
Yeah, I used to. I had that on cassette.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who don't know what a cassette is, forget it.
Google it.
I used to play that. Like I can remember as a teenager playing that. Lying in bed with a little pair of headphones on at night, repeatedly playing it. I loved it. I really did.
Yeah, every now and then I'll pull it out. And, like when I have to DJ, I'll do a special, and we'll play that in the whole album. That's one of the good things about being having our licensing in Canada. Because the United States has rules where on the internet you can't play more than, I think, 2 cuts from a particular album during an hour, and you can't play more than 2 cuts from an album in a show back to back. And Canada has no such rules, so we play whatever the heck we want.
This is why we like Canada. Just one reason we like Canada,
which is why I was able to put your entire album onto our new music playlist rotation, which I did while we were on the show. So yeah, it's already up.
I recently introduced Simon to Wakeman's Six Wives of Henry VIII. There was a relatively recent live concert, wasn't it?
I have not heard this. I haven't heard this one.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. They did it at Hampton Court Palace, in front of the Hampton Court Palace, which they wanted to do originally. That was his idea way back in the 70s. And he wrote to them, whoever, and said, "Can I do my concert in front of Hampton Court Palace?" And they said no. But eventually they said yes, about 3 or 4 years ago or something like that.
Wow.
So,
took them
I don't mean to cut off, but Melanie, you've been blinking in and out. I thought it was my computer that was being overloaded, but you're going in and hi there.
There she goes.
I just removed myself. Well, then let me see if I can.
There we go.
That works.
Tony, let me ask this: what was the most challenging song that gave you the hardest time to write?
I don't know the one. As I said, there was the one that really. There was a bit on the last track called Subterraneans where I did a guitar solo and I knew what I wanted and I improvised it, and it was a bit messy. And then I realized I had to re-record it, and then I realized I'd improvised it and I couldn't remember what I'd done.
Oh yeah, and you had to learn your own solo.
So I sat there, and it was like I literally spent the best part of 3 days, because I can't really read or write music. So I had to I had to sort of notate down what it was, like each note and where I was going, and just learn it. That drove me a bit crazy. The worst part of the whole process, because it wasn't just playing and writing the songs, because I effectively produced it, engineered it, edited it. The editing part of it was, for me, it was the closest I came to giving up, because it was just so repetitive and dull. The mixing stage was quite hard because I didn't really know very much about it. And I listen back to it now and think, well, I could have done that bit better and so on.
You
So
never know. I mean, it
was
sounds
just the whole,
really, really well produced.
It was just
You
the
did
whole
you did a stellar
process.
job.
It took, 2 years, 8 months from start to finish.
Oh, God.
I started in April 2019. Messages from Another World actually came into existence about 3 years before that, because the voice at the beginning, Simon's voice at the beginning, we recorded in the living room at our old place down in London, didn't we? On my smartphone, and uploaded it, and then I messed about with it. That was done there. And I think Dave mentioned Electromatic. That started then as well. So Electromatic came into existence maybe 3 years, but only as bits and pieces.
And Simon's voice, I just remember that because I kept rewinding the track. And I just listening to Simon. It did sound almost 60s like retro sci-fi. That's the kind of sound you would hear on a computer or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, the recording wasn't that great. And then I shoved it into a bit of software and I changed the pitch. So the first one is higher, the second one is much lower, and then the third one is his normal pitch. But I've added distortion and stuff to it. I wanted that old sound of an announcer on the radio, you know, the classic BBC sound of the voice. But
it's good.
Yeah. There's all sorts of bits in there that were difficult, but I just kept working away at it. I nearly passed out on the third chorus of Electromatic, doing the backing vocals. That was there's a little backing vocal line in there. And the chorus gets longer each time, and then the last chorus, and I follow the bass line, and I'm going do that sort of thing, and I realized that I was breathing too much, and as it went on, I could feel myself inflating. Like this. I didn't need as much air as I thought I did, so I was instead of just a little one, and I could feel myself getting really uncomfortable, and I started to get dizzy because I was hyperventilating.
Right.
Oh,
so I had to do it in little bits and then chop it together because I couldn't get through. And I always do like 3 takes of each line and then comp a good one out of it. And it was I nearly fainted at that point.
So you're getting lightheaded.
Yeah, because I just sucked in and forced so much air into my bloodstream. I was starting to get dizzy on it. There was odd things like that. But I've always been a problem solver. I mean, that's what I've done.
How can I do this and live?
Yeah, but I've always been a problem solver. So when a problem came up, I sought solutions out to things. It's just something I've always done. So yeah, it might be tricky, and I might have no idea initially, but I'll sit there and work it out and find a way around it.
I know I'm going to get a
PM
from
cheat.
Simon.
I'll cheat. I'll happily cheat. It gets me what I want.
The technology's there. Why not utilize it?
Well, yeah. I mean, this is it. I mean, and with the digital stuff, I mean, a lot of the editing, it's no worse than editing a document in a word processor. It's really not that much different. You know, you can copy and you can paste, you can slide things around.
Yeah.
You know, you can move things into place. It's all. The only thing that limits you is the power of the computer in the end. And I ran it on a fairly standard Windows 7 machine. I mean, it wasn't anything special.
Gosh.
And it just about did it. There were moments when it fainted on me, but shutting things down. Yeah. Actually, there isn't that in itself wasn't too bad. You have to shut some things down. You do get latency. Yeah, latency can be a problem. But again, you can work around it.
Melanie, I'm just going to get a picture from Simon and goes, yeah, so Tony is working on another album. It's Tony on the floor.
It was such a weird experience, that bit. That was like, what's wrong? What's going on? Why am I feeling so weird? And but
there are times because we're both being productive on different things. Me and with my writing, Tony with his music. And it's very clear that we're both thinking about our own projects. So you find that we're sitting in the sitting room just staring into space with no conversation going on unless I verbalize a thought.
And then one of us will say...
In the form of a question?
Yeah.
Yeah. One of us will say, I'll be back in a minute. And 2 hours later...
Yep.
we stroll back in and go, oh, what happened? I've got something I want to get down. And yeah, But
and it is funny how things just pop into your head.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah.
Because
I think once you get into a creative mode, it does. Like I say, you've got this kind of radar that just, oh, I'll have that. It can be, you know, things. Sometimes they appear out of nowhere.
And also, you listen to a group of people, and they say something, or there was something on the television the other day, or the radio, and somebody said, "Oh, I missed that because the cat had diarrhea." And I thought, I'm sorry, I've got to steal that. I'm definitely going to find a way of putting that into something.
I will say that's a sentence that literally makes you stop all thought processes. What?
It was a very funny statement, and she was being very serious.
Yeah. Okay, this warrants it. So I've started this. Anytime that we make a cat reference or a cat appears on the Traveling TARDIS, we have the Traveling TARDIS cat alert.
There it is.
Pretty cat.
That's Beaker. That's mine. And he's too heavy to bring on the show, and I really don't want him bouncing around in my show. Meow, squish.
But people do say weird things sometimes.
That works,
don't they? They phrases you never thought you'd hear another human being say, and you sit back. Where did that come from? How do you arrive at that point? Yeah. And you tell someone else, and they just, you don't have to write comedy a lot of the time. It just happens around you.
Mm-hmm.
No.
You know, human beings are hilarious. They really are a lot of the time.
I mean, there's times where I'll be in different, like, just online little chat rooms or just kind of think tanks and stuff for art, and somebody will just say something offhand, and usually my go-to is story time, because that just nope, wait, we are stopping right now. What on earth are you referencing?
Yeah.
I'll go get the popcorn.
I dropped the fork and the bulldozer stopped, or something like that. And she's just like, and then it's one of those. I remember Lewis Black saying something about listening to things and going like, if you listen to it too long, your blood will shoot out of your nose. You're like, what happened there?
Do you ever get that thing where someone says something and all you need to do, it's the way they emphasize a word.
Mm-hmm.
They'll just change the emphasis on a word, and it suddenly means something completely different. I tend to hear that a lot. A friend of mine started me doing this years back. He just said one thing. There's an old song called "What Is This Thing Called Love?"
No,
and he said,
thing called love?
What's this thing called love?
It's all in the punctuation.
Yeah,
what's that in the road ahead?
Yes,
yeah, and that's kind of how I see a lot of things. You know, we had a thing going on over here where they were killing off badgers because they carry tuberculosis.
I heard about that.
Right.
And there was this little headline.
Brian May, you know, and
did that song. Brian.
Badger.
Yeah. But there was a little headline: Badger Cull misses target. Now I took that in a different way. That all these people were shooting away and just not hitting anything. That's how that sounded to me. That's where I took that, but I've got a strange brain. I always have had. Never.
Well, to me, this whole topic reminds me just of like Victor Borge, like all those kind of the importance of punctuation and the application of different words and stuff like that.
Yeah. The language is a wonderful, strange thing. It really is.
Well, it's just for people who are still here for us tonight, let me show you what the album cover is, the What If album cover, and you can check it out. Anthony Wilson Dugdale.bandcamp.com/releases.
I like the cover art. That's elegant in its simplicity.
There we go.
That's what I was
elegant
going for.
In its simplicity. It's good.
It's a mixture of two things I found on a site that you can get free images from. So the background bit, the white with the lines on it, was one, and it had something else in the middle which I took out. And then I found the cogs and the wheels and with the fly somewhere else, and I just took the background out and slapped it on the top, and that was it. I'm not an artist in that sense. I can barely draw a straight line with a ruler, so don't have me drawing anything. because I can't do stickman properly. That's how bad I am at it, and I always have been. That part of my brain just doesn't work for some reason. So, but I can create images like that.
People say, all I can draw is stick figures. Have you tried to draw a stick figure? It's not easy.
Yeah, oh no,
getting the proportions right. It's a trick.
Yeah. No, I remember being really small and getting really angry at school because they wanted me to draw, and finding it uncomfortable and awkward for some reason. It just didn't, give me something to make a noise with, and I'm happy.
Well, gentlemen, I know it's late for you too, so we're going to be just doing a review, and you're more than welcome to stick around. We're just going to do a quick review of the trailer for The Legend of the Sea Devils. But for folks who are still here and want to know what's coming up, our next interview next Tuesday will be with astronaut Abby. Some of you may be familiar with that name. She has started a social media program, and she's actually putting on things for other people to learn. She is trying to be the first person on Mars. And she's actually going through the process with the Mars generation. This is astronaut Abby, better known as Abigail Harrison, and she'll be on next week to talk about her journey as she goes to Mars. And I would tell her, please avoid water and don't open a space station named Bowie. That's all I'm going to tell you for that journey there. And of course, the week after, we're going to be doing the review, and we'll be showing the preview in just a second. The Legends of the Sea Devil, which is getting closer to the swan song for Jodie Whittaker's 13th Doctor. So please check it out down there. We'll be back next week. In the meantime, let me go ahead and pull this up. It's been a while. No, where are you? Oh, there you
go. I think I'm going to have to. I think I'm going to have to take a walk.
Okay.
Thank you so much for inviting me on the show, Tony. It was nice to meet you. Simon,
good to meet you too, Gene.
Yeah.
Melanie.
As always.
Thank you very much, Gene, for your generosity.
Oh, quite welcome. Quite welcome. And one of these times, I'd like to get another station ID from you. You did one as Winston Churchill for us, but that was back when our radio station was called Krypton Radio.
Oh wow, yes.
Good Lord. It was the same radio station. That was us.
All right, okay. I'll get something to you. Well, let's just keep in touch.
Do your Alfred Hitchcock.
Lovely.
Sorry.
Yeah, I could do. Yeah, it's very similar. It's very much like
Alfred Hitchcock, not a million miles from Churchill.
So you just put the bottom lip out, and you start talking about the MacGuffin.
Yes, that's perfect. That'd be great. Gene at sci-fi.radio is the email address.
I just had an idea for a Halloween special now.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. Stopping by. And without further ado, here we go. Here is the trailer for The Legends of the Sea Devil.
Is there sound?
Is there sound, Christian?
There should be. Hang on a second.
It looks like it's muted on the.
Oh, is it? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. I'm sorry.
Let's try this again.
Well, take two. Here we go. Well, the weird part about it is I don't think I can. Nobody understands that. I don't think I can hear this.
Sea Devil.
I still can, but I hope you can.
It's coming straight for us.
That's impossible. Madam Ching, Pirate Queen.
Where's the crew? That'll be us. We don't stand a chance.
Yes, did you just stand up like this?
You're like a kid sometimes.
Thanks. Say hello to my crew.
The world has been disrupted.
Because of you. Because of what you unleashed.
You want to create chaos.
It is our time.
Man the cannons.
The ship is going down. Down!
Da-da-da-da.
What do you think?
On a personal basis, I was terrified. Although I was about 14, maybe 12, because they were in the John Pertwee era, weren't they?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really uncomfortable with the Sea Devils. They sort of stuck in my mind more than the Daleks, really, for whatever reason. It's good to see them back.
Yeah.
I want the giant ant back. My first Doctor Who memory is of a giant ant.
Yes, I remember. Gosh, that was William Hartnell, and I can't. It was the Ant and the Wasp, or something like that. I can't remember.
There was a very early one. Yeah.
Yes.
I remember that. That's the earliest I can recall with Doctor Who. I can go back a little further with, like I said, Fireball XL5. And my greatest disappointment in life is that we never got the hover scooters. You know, those little scooter things that you can hover about on. They had them in Thunderbirds as well, and I've always wanted one.
We're still waiting for the hoverboard from Back to the Future.
Yeah,
that was supposed to be years ago. We're behind that. Well, I mean, if we're going through Arthur C. Clarke, we're supposed to be at Jupiter by now. We're really we're still trying to get to Mars.
I had a weird experience recently was it 2001 was on the TV, and I watched it again, and I'd read the book, and I'd read 2010, and I thought, I know there's a couple of other books, I should really read those, and I got part of the way through one of them, and I realized that I actually had read it, but I couldn't remember a word of it. It was the most peculiar sensation. Hang on a minute, I remember this. And then I got to the fourth one, and the same thing happened. And I thought, I must have read it because I remember this bit. I had no actual memory of ever reading them.
I think there's 2001, 2010, 2000 something else. It's like 2075 or something. And then there's 3000.
Yeah.
And spoilers for anybody who doesn't know about 3000, all three of the original characters come back from 2001. They are all back.
Yeah,
Hal and the guy who gets thrown out, and in fact, the story is actually revolving around the guy who got ejected from the ship. He comes back 1,000 years later. Christian, UK trailer has lots of scenes at the BBC. Oh, okay. Sorry, I just found. What's that?
Time to go find it.
Time to go find it. Okay, hang on.
I must admit, I've not seen it yet.
Okay, I will try.
But I don't think it's been on terrestrial television over here yet, has it?
Well, I don't know. I've seen something, I think, on. I don't know, but not on television. See, we tend to record a lot of television,
Christian.
So we miss
Mark
out.
has the link for you.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh.
Well, let me copy and paste. Dang it.
That's because that's a screen. You need to go into
hang on. I got the BBC one. Hang on.
Okay.
Weren't that hard to find. Let's see here. It's just me doing admin work right now.
No worries. The funny thing is, I recently there's a book. It's more geared. I would say it used to be geared more to a more younger audience, and it's an audiobook. It's through Audible. It's called Rivals, but then they ended up going that, and it's very humorous, and that it talks about like just rivals throughout history, whether it was.
It's on mute again.
No, I haven't played it yet. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. There we go.
I think it's nice to have a doctor with the same accent that I grew up with.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I used to have the same accent that Jodie Whittaker has in this.
All right.
It's just changed over time.
Oh yeah, I lost my Yorkshire accent a long time ago.
Okay, I'll play. This is the BBC version. Hang tight.
Sea Devil.
Okay, why is their version a lot more crisper than the BBCA version?
That's impossible. Madam Ching! Pirate Queen!
Where's the crew? That'll be us. We don't stand a chance.
Yes! Did you just stand up like this?
You're like a kid sometimes.
Thanks. Say hello to my crew.
The world has been disrupted.
Because of you. Because of what you unleashed.
You want to create chaos.
It is our time. Man the cannons.
The ship is going down. Down!
Don't forget to click below and subscribe to the official
Don't forget to subscribe to the official Doctor Who YouTube channel.
But it's another Doctor Who item that they're using somebody from history. They're using a historical figure.
That's cool. Thoughts, Melanie? I didn't hear your thoughts.
Oh, no, I had just listened to an audiobook where it actually had spoken about her and her how large a fleet or a kingdom she basically had, where she was a pirate queen, and that she learned how to take what pirating was and all of throughout China and kind of privatize it, but actually kind of unionize it so that everybody paid into a little bit of it and had life insurance and had all these other things, and were able to have they were able to draw different territories and all this kind of stuff. So she literally was a queen where she had an insane reach. So it's kind of interesting that they're using it under their historical character. So for me, I'm kind of like, ooh, how much of it is, is it going to be, kind of accurate, because this was such a long time ago. Heck, they can't even agree what her name was. So, but I'm interested because, again, it's another character. We're seeing another monster from the Pertwee era as, who was it? Somebody in here said that we also saw them. Dan had mentioned that we also saw the Sea Devils once in the Peter David era.
The Warriors of the Deep.
Yeah, so it's kind of neat that we're getting another old kind of baddie coming back and a little bit of a history. So here's hoping we're getting a nice little episode in a couple weeks.
Be interesting to see.
Couple weeks for Easter.
And I'm hoping there's a prediction that the Merca comes back. That would be interesting how they're going to pull off the Merca on this one. So
poor Dan wearing a actual pirate, like he came out of Gasparilla Parade.
He does. He really does look out of place on that one.
Oh, sir.
What was it? The only other time that I can remember there was a pirate was it the Curse of the Black Spot? I'm trying to remember other pirate, Doctor Who pirate versions, and I think that's the only one I can think of.
The one with the 11th Doctor.
With Hugh Bonneville.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. What ended up being the infirmary somewhere at the very end. The only other one was Enlightenment. That doesn't. It really does matter if you think it counts because it was a space race in pirate ships. It's totally different.
Vaguely remember that one.
Vaguely remember the woman who played, and she was just awesome. I can't remember her name. They just passed away recently, but she was the female pirate in that, and she was just. It looked like she was just having a great time playing that role. I hadn't seen Enlightenment in a while, but that was the Immortals, I believe. The Eternals. I'm sorry, the Eternals. They could not die. So. Oh, thanks, Dan.
Yeah, because the original one you had I
know that was BBCA. You would think they would be the same. It's
Mark says, I think the visual effects look amazing and Sea Devils looks fabulous. I just hope the story is good. I think that's what we're all. That's what I think we're all.
I think that's what a lot of people are thinking, because that for me has been. For a while, the stories haven't been well told. Particularly,
Andrew, thank you. Linda Barron, was the pirate from Enlightenment. There she is.
Linda Barron.
That's the bad thing when it comes to storytelling. It's I don't mind having. I tend to go into things with the bar pretty low. I just want beginning, middle, end, decent plot. I want I will watch movies like the popcorn kind of thing. I'll watch a Fast and Furious. I'll watch a Transporter because I know this is just going to be like a video game action sequence and there's not going to be a story, but I'll just sit here and eat popcorn and enjoy some air conditioning. Okay, bar's low. Yeah, I'm not looking for Citizen Kane style,
I think the thing is that Russell T Davies set such a high standard when he was running the show. And I think once he left, something changed in the production process. And I don't think it's the writers. I think somewhere in there, someone isn't being rigorous enough editing the scripts. Because, and I really noticed the very first episode that Peter Capaldi did. There was a lot of repetitious dialogue and bits that were being said that didn't need to be. I spent, beginning of the 2000s, I actually spent about 4 years writing scripts. So I got into how things work and how things should work. And of course, when you know how things could work and you start looking at things, you start analyzing and thinking, well, and to me, it's there's something about the editing process that's just not as sharp as it really needs to be.
You think that maybe they didn't have a script doctor? That was
weirdly enough, I looked at the credits and someone shows up as a script editor, but either they've been overridden or ignored or something. But you just think this could be just a little bit tighter. It could be sharper. And that's I think some of them have got some did get really sloppy at times, but that's been my main issue with. And it's been a gradual decline, I think, in that sense. But I'm hoping now Russell T Davies is coming back that he'll be sharp again, because he really, I think, understands how to tell a story and get everything across. But yeah, he's excellent as a writer. I think he's a top writer. So I'm hoping he'll.
I think when you mentioned tightening up the script, there are things in Russell T Davies' writing, and then there's a lot of it also in Moffat. But Moffat got a little weird. It's just like, why is that in there? What's this going on? And Russell T, every moment I could actually see belonging to the story or supporting the story, or there's something. Even my favorite scene is the end of the world, where Rose, I was talking about this, and by the way, now that I segued in the end of the discussion, why Melina's been putting knives into the chat. I said something on, I was invited to the TARDIS Zone to do a review of the Day of the Doctor, and I mentioned something about Capaldi and Clara's relationship, and I said I wasn't really crazy about Clara Prime and Capaldi's relationship. I said I love Nardole and Capaldi better, and she didn't like that. And Noel, who was the host, agreed with me. Now, she was typing in knives the whole episode. So just like, oh my God. Having said that, the end of the world, where there's just a scene where the two of them, this thing where the Ninth Doctor is showing Rose the pain that he's going through. And now she's finally getting it because she got to see her world get blown up. And it ended for me perfectly, because the next thing she goes is, "Do you smell chips?" As if to say, you know what, everything that happened is happening somewhere else or something, but what we should be concerned about is the now and enjoying what we got in life. And it was just said with, do you smell chips?
It's actually, in its way, it's quite an innocuous line. But one of the things that I learned was giving actors space to do their thing. Not giving them too much in a line that does their job for them. A simple line like, can I smell chips? In itself, that line is almost nothing. But in the context of what's happened previously, your actor is going to take that and phrase it and time it, and you're giving them something to do. And that, I think, sometimes it's very easy. I mean, there's a couple of things we've seen fairly recently where everything was really on the nose for the actors, that there wasn't any, they were reciting lines because they were being given absolutely everything. They didn't have to dig into it and try and pull something out. And I think that line, one of my favorite lines in film is from Misery, "You dirty bird." When she says that to him, you think about that line of itself is, what the hell is that? But the way Kathy Bates delivers it, the venom she gets into that almost inconsequential line,
Mhm.
it gives her the space. Here's a little line, fire it up. And that's what actors do. It's giving them the space and the opportunity to pull things out and dig in. And if you don't do that, you see the actor trying to work hard. If you see an actor working hard, it's probably that they're dealing with a script that's just not giving them space to do what they're doing, and they're trying desperately to pull something out.
Mhm.
It's just backing off a bit as a writer sometimes, not saying things. What you don't say,
Yeah,
is what the actor does.
that makes sense, because you're also giving it you need to also allow the space for the director to do what he wants,
Yeah.
they want to do, or even the
Yeah.
DP who's going to frame the shot to, what's going on in the background rather than what's going on in the foreground of when that line's being,
Yeah.
when they taken. But no, I agree that I think RTD not only was just a good writer, I think it was even that he knew how to assemble the team, and that he trusted that team to do all that, whether it was the editing, whoever was the editor in that suite, whoever his DP was, whoever was, the writing team, whoever was going to light and make sure that the emotion is being carried correctly of what the actor's going to do in the space. I think he assembled a really good team, and I think he trusted them. Now, that's just me guessing. I don't know if he is somebody that goes around and is tweaking every single aspect. That I do not know. But I know that filmmaking and theater and all that, it's a team effort, just like you would in sports.
Yeah.
So you can't win, so it's that. But in sports, if something bad happens, in American football, it's the quarterback's fault or the coach's fault. It's not everybody else. And here we're having the same conversation of, well, is it Chibnall or is it Jody? Well, there's a lot of other people there, but
you can't. I don't think you can blame it. If an episode doesn't fly, you can't really blame the actor. I don't think you can blame the actor at all.
I agree.
But you're right. I think about Russell T. He had good people around him, and I think he had people around him who were better at. He probably understood what they did, but they were better at it. It's the thing a friend of mine used to say: never be afraid to employ people who are better at it than you are. And for me, in the music field, the classic example of that is David Bowie. You look at the people he worked with over time. They were incredible musicians, all of them, always. And the stories about like Ziggy. Ziggy was, it's a few songs on a 12th string, and he'd turn up in the studio, rattle it out, and Mick Ronson, the guitar player, would go, right, I got that. Bowie would just leave. And then Ronson would do his thing. And Ronson was a top-level musician. He was classically trained and everything. And he pulled it all together and arranged the songs and did the orchestral arrangements. And, and I think Bowie learned from that he needed people around who were better musicians than he was. And he moves on. He gets Carlos Alomar. He gets Adrian Belew. He gets Mike Garson. These guys are top people. And I think you need that. You need to. You can't be in total control of everything. And if you try, you're probably going to make a bit of a mess of it. You need to allow good people to do what they do. I think, and maybe that's what started. That's what started to maybe go a bit adrift.
I know it's past Simon's bedtime, so we'll make this the last text. It is like Buffy episode Hush, the only line in the whole episode right at the I think we should talk and wonder if Doctor Who should have a Hush episode. That would be a challenge.
I think that'd be a huge challenge, because I know that at that point, I think that was Whedon's response for his writing, saying everybody telling him how brilliant a writer was, and here he turned around and wrote something with no lines.
No lines.
One line. That'd be kind of cool. Show the skills.
Well, but there's one of my favorite Big Finish episodes is it's written by it's just Paul McGann and India Fisher. Well, it's Scherzo. Yes, Scherzo. Thank you. Scherzo. It's all it is.
I picked it right.
Yeah, you picked it right. Yeah, it's just the two actors playing each other, and it's with Rob Sherman's writing. That's it. That's all it is. And Rob Sherman was told they're entering another universe. and he had to explain through two actors how this universe functions and has nothing to do with ours, just by these two talking. And plus they had to go through this love-hate relationship because Charlie confesses her love for the Doctor, but the Doctor reciprocates and says no. or rebounds and says, nope, I don't love you. And they enter the new universe. So there was so much going on that he did with it. Anyway, folks, thank you so much. Again, you can check out now Tony's music on the Hanging With Web Show Indie Music and also on sci-fi.radio. But if you want to purchase it for yourself, there you go. Anthony Wilson Dugdale.bandcamp.com/releases. Check it out for yourself. And I'll put the link in the description later on in the YouTube channel.
Is it not /?
I never know what that thing is anymore.
This is why people just say //
It's //
But we never know what that / is.
The good thing is if you do purchase the album, you can download it right then and there, and it gives you a ton of everything from WAV, ALIC, AAAC, MP3s, 2 different types of MP3s. You can download it in many different forms because I might have already done that.
Tony, Simon, thank you so much. Melanie,
it's been a pleasure. It really has.
It really has been. And of course, the added bonus of the surprises.
I hope you enjoyed the surprises, Tony. I thought you would.
And now
I'm stunned.
You're going to be out there in the universe.
Yay. I was wondering how I was going to promote it.
Pieces of Melanie. Or pieces of Melanie, I should say.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Wrap it up so these two gents can go to bed.
Oh, well, that's how I wrap it.
Good night.
Everybody. Goodbye. And enjoy the silver. Become part of the legend.
I've got an appointment in 12 hours.
Oh, okay. Well,
go to bed.
Wrap it up now. Here we go.
Good night.
Right.